Have you noticed that your relationship with money has started to change lately? If you're a Gemini, the universe is moving very powerful energies around your financial life right now. And you know what's even more impressive? Most Geminis haven't even realized that these transformations are already happening. While you were busy with your 1,000 activities, conversations, and projects, invisible forces began to completely reorganize your material future. These changes are not small. We're talking about profound alterations that will define how you will earn, save, and multiply your money over the next few years. And most importantly, these changes have already begun. They're not arriving, they're not on their way. They're already here, happening now as you watch this video. The problem is that your restless and scattered mind may be so focused on so many things at the same time that you haven't been able to see the clear signs the universe is sending you. Every conversation you've had recently, every idea that came out of nowhere, every strange feeling about your work, all of this is part of a larger plan unfolding in your financial life. What if I told you that there are exactly 7 specific changes happening to you right now, and that recognizing each one of them could be the difference between riding a wave of prosperity or letting it pass you by? Stay with me until the end of this video because I'm going to reveal each of these transformations that are already shaping your financial future. Some will surprise you, others will make you finally understand strange things that have been happening. But all of them, without exception, are fundamental so that you can consciously participate in your own financial revolution. Change 1. Your ideas are now worth gold and people are noticing. Gemini has always been known for having a brilliant and creative mind. You have 1,000 ideas per minute. You can see solutions where others only see problems, and your communication skills have always been your greatest natural talent. But something has profoundly changed lately. Your ideas have ceased to be just interesting thoughts floating in your head. They have begun to transform into something concrete, valuable, tangible. And most importantly, other people have started to notice this. You may have noticed that when you talk about a project or share an opinion, people pay more attention than before. It's not your imagination. The universe is amplifying your voice and making your words more magnetic. Your ideas are charged with a different energy now, a frequency that attracts material opportunities. This means that the suggestion you made at work, the comment you made in a meeting, the solution you casually proposed, all of this is planting financial seeds that will soon germinate. The change you need to realize is this. Your mind is no longer just a generator of interesting ideas. It has become a machine for creating financial value. Every thought of yours has the potential to turn into money, and this isn't mystical exaggeration. It's an energetic reality manifesting in the material plane of your life. Think about the last few weeks. How many times have you had an idea and then someone mentioned something related? How many times have you thought about doing something new and a similar opportunity appeared? This isn't coincidence, synchronicity. It's the universe showing you that your mental frequency is aligned with the frequency of abundance. But here's the danger. If you don't notice this shift, you'll continue treating your ideas as you always have. Lightly, letting them slip away, not giving them the attention and action they deserve. Gemini has a tendency to have a brilliant idea and minutes later be thinking about something completely different. This dispersion has always been their biggest financial enemy. But now, the cost of ignoring your own ideas is much higher than before. Why? Because they are magnetized. They carry the energy of manifestation. When you have an intuition about a financial path, it's no longer just your mind wandering. It's the universe whispering concrete directions. The change has already begun in how other people react to you. Perhaps you've noticed that colleagues are seeking your opinion more often, or that in casual conversations, people are genuinely interested in what you think about investments, business, or opportunities. This is the universe using other people as mirrors to show you that your mental energy now has financial weight. Your communication, which has always been your gift, has now also become your channel to prosperity. Every word you say can open doors. Every conversation can be the beginning of a profitable partnership. Every exchange of messages can plant the seed of a lucrative project. But you will only reap these rewards if you realize that the change has already happened. You are no longer that Gemini who only has ideas. You have become that Gemini whose ideas materialize results. And this transformation is happening now, whether you realize it or not. Change 2. Your curiosity is leading you to money, not just to information. As a Gemini, you've always been driven by curiosity. You want to know everything, learn about everything, experience everything. This characteristic has led you to accumulate knowledge in various areas, but this knowledge hasn't always translated into money. How many times have you learned something fascinating, but never used it to earn anything materially? How many courses have you started? How many books have you read? How many skills have you developed that remain merely interesting but never lucrative? Well, that's changing radically now. Your natural curiosity is being redirected by the universe. Without you consciously realizing it, you are being drawn to knowledge, people, and situations that have direct financial potential. That sudden interest in a new subject isn't random. That desire to learn a new skill didn't arise out of nowhere. That channel you started following, that book that caught your attention, that person you started talking to, all of this is strategically positioned by the universe in your path because these things will generate money for you. The crucial difference is that before, your curiosity led you to knowledge for knowledge's sake. You learned because it was fun, because it was interesting, because it fed your restless mind. But now there's an invisible thread connecting your curiosity with concrete financial opportunities. You're being guided to the right information, at the right times that will open the right doors. Think about it. In recent weeks, what have you been curious about? What topics have caught your attention? What conversations have sparked your interest? Write it down, because within these interests lies a path to prosperity. You may have become interested in some new technology. You may have started paying attention to how certain people do business. You may have become curious about investments, cryptocurrencies, the digital market, or any other financial area. The important thing is to understand that this curiosity is not fleeting. It is directed. It is intentional from an energetic point of view. The universe is using your own curious nature to guide you to sources of income you can't even imagine yet. But here's the problem. If you don't notice this change, you'll treat these new interests the same way you always have. You'll get excited, you'll learn a little, you'll find it interesting, and then you'll move on to the next novelty without ever delving deep enough to turn it into money. This pattern needs to change now, because this time, your curiosities aren't just mental distractions. They're financial calls. When something captures your attention now, especially if it's related to ways to make money, work, skills, or opportunities, you need to give it more importance than you normally would. You need to follow that thread. You need to investigate deeper. You need to act on that curiosity. The shift has already begun in how information reaches you. Notice how many times lately you've stumbled upon content about finance, entrepreneurship, ways to make money, or stories of people who have prospered. This isn't an internet algorithm. It's the universe's algorithm at work. You're being bombarded with seeds of financial possibilities. Your mind is being prepared. Your field of vision is being expanded. And all of this is happening so naturally that you might think it's just a coincidence or that you're just being you, always curious about 1,000 things. But it's not. There's a higher intelligence orchestrating your interests right now. And that intelligence knows exactly what kind of knowledge you need to acquire now to be prepared for the financial opportunities that are coming. Trust your curiosity more than ever. But this time, take it all the way. Turn information into action. Turn knowledge into skill. Turn learning into financial results. Change 3. Your communication has become magnetic to opportunities and resourceful people. Every Gemini knows that communication is their superpower. You can talk to anyone about any subject in any situation. You have a way with words, whether speaking or writing. This has always been a striking characteristic of yours. But now, a subtle and powerful transformation is happening with the energy of your communication. You're not just speaking well. You're speaking in a way that attracts money. Your words are charged with a new magnetic frequency. When you speak, especially when you talk about your projects, your ideas, or your needs, you are emitting a vibration that resonates specifically with people and situations that can bring you material benefits. It's as if your energy field has gained a new antenna, tuned to the frequency of abundance. And this means that the right people are starting to appear in your life. Not just anyone. People with resources, people with connections, people with opportunities. And they are all being attracted by the way you communicate now. You may have noticed unexpected conversations that led to interesting possibilities. You may have noticed that certain people have started to seek you out more. You may have noticed that when you mention something you need or want, coincidentally someone knows someone who can help. This is all part of that shift. Your voice, literally and metaphorically, has become a magnet for prosperity. Every word that comes out of your mouth now carries more power to materialize than before. Every message you write, every post you make, every conversation you have, All of this is creating energetic waves that return to you in the form of financial opportunities. But there is an enormous responsibility in this change. You need to be careful about what you say. Complaints about money, lamentations about lack, negative conversations about your financial situation. All of this is also amplified now. If your communication is magnetized, it attracts what you talk about. If you complain about lack, you attract more lack. If you talk about possibilities, you attract possibilities. Simple but crucial. The transformation has already begun in the quality of the conversations that reach you. Pay attention to how many times recently someone has mentioned an opportunity in your presence. How many times have you heard about something that could be financially interesting for you? How many doors have been merely mentioned, even if you haven't walked through them yet? This is the universe testing your perception. It's as if they're placing signs in your path saying, "Look here, look at this possibility, pay attention to this." And many Geminis are so used to the constant flow of information that they don't stop to really consider these clues. They let them pass. They find them interesting and move on. But now is not the time to do that. Now is the time to pause when the universe speaks. And it's speaking through the conversations you have. Another manifestation of this shift is that you may be feeling the urge to talk about things you previously kept to yourself. You may be feeling the urge to share your ideas, your projects, your financial dreams. This isn't insecurity or a need for attention. It's your intuition knowing that when you verbalize your intentions now, the universe listens more attentively. When you declare your financial goals, you are activating forces of manifestation. So, if you've been feeling this impulse to express yourself more, to talk about your plans, to share your visions, follow that impulse. But do it consciously. Speak with intention. Speak clearly. Speak believing that your words have creative power. Because they do. More now than ever. Before we continue, I want to make a special request to you who have been following along this far. If these messages are touching your heart, if you are recognizing these changes in your life, subscribe to the channel now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Also, leave a comment saying where you are watching from. This creates a powerful energetic current among all of us who seek prosperity and evolution. And if you feel that this content is making a difference in your life, consider becoming a supporter of the channel. Your contribution allows me to continue bringing these important messages to you and thousands of other people. Each support is an energetic exchange of abundance that returns multiplied to your life. Now let's continue revealing the changes that are already transforming your financial reality. Change 4. You're losing your fear of having multiple income streams, and the universe is taking advantage of it. For a long time, society taught that you should have a job, a source of income, a career. And for Geminis, this has always been a prison disguised as security. Your nature demands variety, multiplicity, diversity. You were never meant to do just one thing for the rest of your life. You need different stimuli, varied challenges, multiple paths. But fear has always held you back. The fear of not being able to dedicate yourself enough to everything. The fear of being seen as scattered or unreliable. The fear of starting several things and finishing none. This fear is beginning to dissolve. And this is one of the most important changes happening to you now. You are beginning to understand, even if not yet fully consciously, that your multifaceted nature is not a financial weakness. It is your greatest economic strength. The world is changing rapidly. The way people earn money is transforming. And guess which sign is perfectly prepared for this new reality? You. Geminis thrive in environments where they can multitask, where they can have different projects happening simultaneously, where they can explore diverse talents and skills. And this world is being born now. The most financially successful people today don't have just one source of income. They have several. They diversify. They explore multiple possibilities. And that's exactly what you do naturally. The change that's happening is internal first. You're starting to give yourself permission to be who you truly are financially. You're beginning to understand that you don't need to choose just one path. You can have your main job and a side project. You can have your activities and explore a new skill that generates income. You can invest your time in different areas that all contribute to your prosperity. And the universe is responding to this open-mindedness. As soon as you started considering this possibility, opportunities began to appear. Someone may have offered you extra work. A side business idea may have emerged. You may have discovered a way to monetize something you already do for pleasure. All of this is not luck. It's synchronization with your true financial nature. The wealthy Gemini is not the one who obsessively focuses on just one thing. It's the one who creates an ecosystem of income, several small rivers that together form an ocean of abundance. And you're ready for this now. But there's a critical point here. You need to organize this multiplicity. There's no point in starting 10 things and finishing none. The change is about embracing your multifaceted nature, but with structure, with planning, with a commitment to bringing each thing to a point of maturity before moving on to the next. You have the mental capacity for this. Your brain works well doing multiple things. The problem was never your ability. It was always the external and internal pressure that you should be different from who you are. Now you are freeing yourself from this pressure. And this freedom is opening financial floodgates. In the coming months, you will realize more and more clearly that your finances will improve as you stop trying to fit into a single income model and start creating your own multiple model. That fixed job can continue, but that side project you've always wanted to explore needs to begin. That skill you have but never used to earn money needs to be activated. That hidden talent needs to be offered to the world. Because each of them is a tap of abundance. And you, unlike other signs, have the rare ability to open several taps at the same time without drowning. You can manage complexity. You can keep multiple balls in the air. And now the universe is giving you the right balls to juggle financially. Recognize the small opportunities that are appearing. Don't dismiss anything. That job that seems small could be the beginning of a stable income. That idea that seems simple could transform into something big. That person who approached you offering something could be a door the universe is opening. You are in the phase of planting multiple seeds. Not all will germinate, and that's okay. But some will grow and support you in ways you can't even imagine yet. Change 5. Your restless mind is finally finding focus, and this changes everything financially. This might be the most surprising change you'll ever notice. Throughout your life, you've lived with a mind that never stops. 1,000 thoughts at once. Difficulty focusing on one thing. Interest in everything, complete mastery of nothing. This characteristic has given you broad knowledge, but often prevented you from building something financially solid. You would start projects enthusiastically and quickly lose interest. You had brilliant ideas that never materialized because your attention had already gone elsewhere. And this has always been frustrating for you, even if you wouldn't admit it. But something is changing. Slowly, subtly, but profoundly. Your mind is learning to focus. Not all the time, not on everything, but on specific things that truly matter to your prosperity. And this is happening almost magically because you're not forcing it. You're simply realizing that certain things hold your attention longer now. Certain projects don't bore you as quickly as before. Certain financial activities awaken a persistence in you that you didn't know you had. This doesn't mean you've stopped being a Gemini. You didn't suddenly become an Earth sign. You're still you with your quick mind and multiple interests. But the universe is teaching you to use that mental speed in a focused way. It's showing you that you can have variety within your focus. You can explore different aspects of the same financial goal without losing direction. The change has already begun in your ability to complete things. Have you been finishing more projects lately? Have you been able to bring ideas to completion more often? Have you felt less of that anxiety of always starting and never finishing? So this isn't just maturity. It's energetic alignment. It's the universe preparing you to reap financial rewards, and rewards are only harvested when the plant completes its cycle. You don't harvest halfway through. Before, you planted many seeds and abandoned them all before the harvest. Now, you're learning to nurture some until the end, and these will nourish you financially. There's an energetic reason for this. Money responds to consistency. Financial opportunities multiply when you demonstrate reliability. People invest in those who finish what they start. And the universe is shaping in you this ability to follow through, to execute completely, to finish. You'll notice this in small things first. You'll be able to maintain a financial routine for longer. You'll be able to save more consistently. You'll be able to study something related to money until you truly master it, instead of just scratching the surface. This change is revolutionary for you. Why? Because what your brilliant ideas have always lacked to become profitable realities is exactly that. Sustained focus until materialization. And you're gaining that now. Not completely, not perfectly, but enough to make a difference. Some Geminis will resist this change. They'll feel like they're losing their essence. They'll be afraid of getting bored or stuck. But that's not what's happening. You're just becoming more efficient. You're learning to choose battles worth fighting to the end. You're developing the perception to know which of your 1,000 ideas truly deserve your full attention. And that doesn't make you any less of a Gemini. It makes you a Gemini who will finally realize their financial potential. There's another important thing about this change. You are becoming more trustworthy in the eyes of others. And this opens enormous professional and financial doors. When people realize that you are no longer the person who only promises and doesn't deliver, who starts out enthusiastic and then disappears, they begin to give you greater opportunities. They start entrusting you with money, projects, and responsibilities. And each of these things translates into more income. Your greatest financial asset has always been your mind. But now your mind is learning to truly work in your favor. Not just generating ideas but implementing them. Not just seeing possibilities but realizing them. And this completely changes your financial game. Change 6. You are attracting the right partners and people who complement what you lack. Gemini is the sign of connections, communication, and exchange. You've always known how to work with people. You've always known how to create networks. You've always known that you know someone who knows someone. But these connections haven't always translated into concrete financial growth. Often they were just superficial friendships, interesting contacts, nice people in your circle. Nothing wrong with that, but also nothing that truly changed your material reality. This is changing now in a specific and powerful way. You are beginning to attract people into your life who are not only pleasant but strategic for your prosperity. They are people who have exactly what you don't have. They are people who complement your weaknesses with your strengths. They are people who see value in you and want to create something together. These are not the random connections you've always made. They are magnetized connections attracted by your new financial frequency. The universe is working like a giant connection app, but instead of romantic encounters, they are encounters of prosperity. You are being paired with the right people at the right times, and this may be happening in very subtle ways. It could be that coworker who suddenly started talking to you more. It could be that person you met casually who mentioned an interesting project. It could even be someone who came back into your life after a long time, bringing an opportunity. None of this is by chance. These are pieces being positioned on the chessboard of your financial life. And you need to be attentive to recognize these people when they appear. Because they don't come with a sign on their forehead saying, "I'm an important connection." They appear naturally, organically, simply, but they carry enormous potential. The most important change is that you are developing a new kind of intuition. An intuition for people. You've always been good at talking to everyone, but now you're getting good at identifying who really matters for your growth. You're developing a radar for human opportunities, for partnerships that work, for alliances that thrive. And that's a skill few people have. Most people waste time on connections that lead nowhere. But you're being guided to the right ones. There's a crucial detail here. These partnerships only work if you bring your part too. It's no use finding the right person if you're not ready to contribute something of value. And you are. Your ideas, your communication, your creativity, all of that is extremely valuable. You just need to recognize it and consciously offer it. Many Geminis underestimate what they have to offer. They think their ideas are obvious, that everyone thinks that way. But that's not true. Your way of thinking is unique. Your neural connections work differently, and that has market value. When you find the right people, you need to have the courage to propose partnerships. You need to be bold enough to say, "Let's do something together." You need to be confident that you bring something important to the table. Because you do. And these people are looking for exactly what you have. The synchronicity is perfect. You just need to act when the door opens. In the coming months, pay close attention to who crosses your path. Especially people who have skills opposite to yours. If you are good at ideas but not at execution, someone who is a master at execution but needs ideas may appear. If you're good at communication but not at organization, someone extremely organized who needs a communicator might appear. If you're creative but lack capital, someone with resources looking for creative projects might appear. The universe is creating perfect matches. You just need to be open, attentive, and willing to build together. Because alone you have limits. But in partnership with the right people, you become financially unstoppable. And these people are already arriving. Some are already in your life, and you haven't yet realized their potential. Others will appear soon. But all are part of the financial expansion plan that the universe is executing for you at this moment. Change 7. Your relationship with time and money is transforming profoundly, and this increases its value. This last change is perhaps the most profound and transformative of all, and it may be the most difficult to perceive because it happens at the level of your self-awareness. Gemini has always had a complicated relationship with time. You want everything fast. You get impatient with slow processes. You want immediate results. And when things take time, you lose interest and move on to something else. This has always affected your finances because building real wealth takes time. It requires patience. It requires you to plant today to harvest months or years from now. And that has never been your strong suit. You preferred quick gains, even if smaller, to waiting for larger gains. But something fundamental is changing in your perception of this. You are beginning to understand that your time has a much greater financial value than you imagined. Not just the time you sell in exchange for a salary, but the time you invest in learning, creating, building, developing. You are beginning to see your time as capital, as an investment, as a seed. And this completely changes your financial choices. When you understand that every hour you dedicate to developing a skill is a deposit in your future bank account, you stop wasting time. When you realize that every moment you use to build something solid is buying your future freedom, you choose better where to put your energy. This awareness is being born in you now. You are beginning to value your own time in a new way. You are starting to say no to things that don't lead you anywhere financially. You are starting to protect your hours as you would protect money. And the most interesting thing is that the more you value your time, the more other people value it too. The more you treat your hours as precious, the more people are willing to pay well for them. There is an energetic law here. The value you place on yourself is the value the world places on you. If you treat your time as something cheap, people will pay you cheaply. If you treat your time as something valuable, people will recognize and compensate for that value. The change has already begun in how you feel when you waste time. Have you felt more discomfort when you spend hours on things that add nothing? Have you been feeling that pang more when you realize you could have used that time more productively financially? This discomfort isn't guilt or negative self-criticism. It's your intuition alerting you that you're in a new phase where time is literally money. And your inner self knows this before your conscious mind. There's another aspect to this change. You're beginning to understand that money also buys time. And that's revolutionary. Before, you may have resisted spending money on things that saved you time. You thought it was a waste to pay someone to do something you could do yourself. You thought it was wrong to invest in tools or services that would speed up your work. But now you understand that buying time is the best investment there is. If you can pay someone to do a task that takes you hours and doesn't require your specific genius, you're actually buying back hours of your life. Hours that you can use to do what only you do. What generates the most value? What multiplies your money? This change in mindset will accelerate your financial growth exponentially, because you'll stop doing everything alone. You'll stop trying to save pennies while losing fortunes on missed opportunities due to lack of time. You'll start investing strategically in anything that gives you back time. And the more time you recover, the more money you can generate. It's a virtuous cycle of prosperity. You're also starting to understand deadlines differently. That project that would take 6 months doesn't scare you as much anymore. You're developing a long-term vision. You're managing to see beyond immediate gratification. And that, for a Gemini, is a gigantic spiritual evolution. Because it means you're maturing your relationship with material reality. You're understanding that great financial results are made of small, consistent actions over time. And you're becoming capable of taking those small actions, day after day, even when you don't see immediate results. This puts you on another financial level. It puts you in the category of people who build real wealth, who create lasting income structures, who don't depend on luck or occasional gains, but on solid systems built patiently. In the coming times, you will notice more and more clarity about how much your time is worth. You'll realize that certain jobs no longer pay well, that certain activities pay you very little for the time they consume. And you'll have the courage to abandon those things and seek opportunities where your time is truly valued. This may mean changing jobs. It may mean renegotiating pay. It may mean refusing jobs you would have accepted before. And all of this is part of your financial growth. Because you can't truly prosper while you're selling your time for less than it's worth. And it's worth a lot. You're only discovering this now. After understanding these 7 profound changes already happening in your financial life, you have a very clear choice ahead of you. You can continue on autopilot, letting these transformations happen unconsciously, taking advantage of only a small fraction of the potential available to you now. Or you can fully awaken to these changes, recognize them, consciously work with them, and exponentially multiply the results they can bring. The difference between these two choices is the difference between a slight improvement in your financial life and a complete revolution in your prosperity. Everything I've shared here isn't predictions of what will happen. It's a revelation of what's already happening. The energies are already in motion. Doors are already opening. The right people are already being drawn to you. Your ideas are already charged with the power of materialization. Your communication is already magnetized for opportunities. You are already being prepared for multiple income streams. Your focus is already developing. Strategic partnerships are already forming. And your awareness of time and value is already changing. All of this is real, it's happening now, and you have the power to accelerate and amplify each of these changes simply by recognizing them and acting in alignment with them. So what are you going to do from now on? How are you going to use this knowledge? How are you going to take advantage of this unique moment that the universe is creating specifically for you? My advice is simple. First, observe your life with new eyes. Start noticing the small synchronicities that are happening, the conversations that lead to opportunities, the ideas that arise at the right time, the people who appear when you need them. Second, write everything down. Your intuitions about money, your ideas about projects, the connections you make, the opportunities that appear. Because in the midst of all this are precious clues to your path to prosperity. Third act, don't wait for everything to be perfect. Don't wait to have all the answers. Don't wait to feel 100% secure. Act with the information you have, with the resources you have, with the opportunities that are in front of you now. Because action is what transforms energy into matter, potential into results, possibility into reality. And you are at a point where your actions have multiplied power. Fourth, be patient with the process but persistent in execution. Remember the change about time? Use it. Understand that you are planting seeds that will bloom. Some quickly, others slowly. But all will bloom if you take care of them. And finally, trust. Trust the universe that is conspiring in your favor. Trust your ability to take advantage of these changes. Trust that you were born with specific gifts that are now being activated to take you to a new financial level. You are not alone on this journey. Thousands of other Geminis are going through the same transformations. And the more each of us awakens to these changes, the stronger the collective energy field of prosperity becomes for everyone. If you have made it this far and these words have deeply touched your heart, you have a mission. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Activate notifications to receive all the messages that will continue to guide you on this journey of prosperity. Leave a comment telling us which of these 7 changes you most identified with. This creates a powerful energy current among us all. And if you feel this content is truly making a difference in your life, consider supporting this work by becoming a channel member. Your energetic contribution returns to you multiplied in the form of more awareness, more opportunities, more prosperity. Now I want to leave you with a final question to reflect on. If a year from now your financial life could be completely different, completely transformed, how do you imagine it would be? How much money would you be earning? What kind of work would you be doing? What level of freedom would you have? Hold that vision in your heart. Because everything you imagined is not far away. It's much closer than you think. And the 7 changes happening now are the steps that will take you there. The universe has already begun the work. Now it's your turn to do your part.